I'm gonna get loud.
Here we go. We are live. We are
live.
recording. This
are
is
live.
Between the Sheets. I wish this sign said Between the Sheets with Leah. But it says the Boudoir Suite. And my name is Leah, and I'm your host with the most. I am a God-fearing, money-making, action-taking, manifesting queen.
Facts.
Got my co-host.
What? WHITNEY period poos. Welcome back.
And look who's in the house again.
What?
Joey Sparks, 2 E's, know why. You heard me, 2 E's,
What?
know why.
No
Joey,
why.
we
Yeah.
had some good conversation. I was digging
Yes.
I
it.
did.
it was
I
good.
did. I had a few of my friends reach out. My wife.
Tasca reached
What was
out.
the feedback? What was the feedback?
Positive.
Yeah.
Like, it was really, really good. I was surprised. My wife was like,
She said, I loved it so much. That's what she said.
yeah,
Like,
well, I mean, yeah, like,
that's how you say it. Not like,
that's what you got.
We
I
love you,
appreciate
Tasca. We love you
Yes.
so
Thanks.
much.
Always.
I'm excited to meet her. I really, really am.
You're going to love her.
Yeah, I just
Super
feel
nice.
like we could vibe.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. For sure.
We are back today. First and foremost, it's been a couple of weeks.
It
How was
has.
everybody's week? What's going on in the
Good.
hood?
Everything is good in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work and basketball tournaments.
Yeah.
With the
I
kiddos.
saw that you guys just had is this like back to back to back?
Yeah, man. This last one, the last game was at 8:30 on Sunday night in Denver.
Ooh. What?
In Denver.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's
So
late.
we got
That's
the-
that-
we got
those
the
are, you
boys
know-
back pretty late.
Those are those games that there's baseball games, the tournaments that they just
Yeah.
go all day. Wrestling tournaments.
Yep.
They got all kinds of stuff.
But it's fun. Like I said, Javon is my favorite baller to watch, just because I'm invested that much in. Like,
Yes.
like my era is gone, and then I say Justice is my favorite singer. Because when he get to singing his Disney tunes,
Oh, yes.
You got to record that. You
Yes.
got to put that up.
Yes.
I want to hear that. You have your little star right there.
Yes.
he's a little artsy man.
Aw,
Yeah,
so
for
cute.
sure.
So that's the two. And that's kind of where we left off too.
Yes.
Was just talking about his kiddos. He didn't really get to
Yeah.
kind of dive into that. So we were talking about how everybody has a part two.
Yes.
Everybody has a part
Yes.
two. And we're going to go a couple of different directions with that. First and foremost, we want to hear a little bit about that dynamic as you being a dad. You're considered a stay-at-home dad, but I mean, you work, you do all of your stuff
Yeah.
from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, like being, like owning my own business allows me the luxury of staying at home.
Yeah.
And taking care of the boys, dropping them off at school.
But a lot of responsibility with that.
I mean, it's a lot to juggle, man.
Yeah.
And then try and like take care of that. Like, I actually take pride in taking care of the house. You remember that movie, Mr. Mom?
Yes. yes.
was
I
it,
love
Michael
it.
So are you
Keaton?
really true like OCD?
I'm probably on the spectrum a little bit.
Like, yeah.
Like I'm probably close.
I
to
tell
the
my husband all
spectrum.
the time, I'm like, I wish you were OCD. I wish you were OCD. I wish I would come home and it was like sparkling clean.
Is
Don't
it
move
it's
that.
just-
Like,
no, not like that.
Is it
but
just
like I just
specific
take.
things?
Just like it's daily. We're gonna have dishes,
Right,
right?
right.
We're gonna have kids with clothes
Right,
laying around.
right.
Justice.
The house is lived in.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like I don't relax very well when it's not.
Right.
And I know she has to leave the house to go to work.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes owning your own business and being able to stay home, I almost feel guilty sometimes. And so sometimes I'm
yeah.
like, yo, let me try and help out because you got to go deal with
I
somebody
don't feel
else.
guilty. I'm like, leave me the hell alone sometimes. I'm like, I am not at your beck and call.
all.
Do not bug me. 9 to 5, I'm in
at
my
work.
office. Don't bug me. I'm like, consider this a regular job, okay?
Yes.
Right.
I guess the part that I struggle with staying at home, it's twofold because at first I was like, man, I'll be able to be home more and I'll be able to help out and like
Right.
do things. And then I'm like, hell no, I ain't, because
Right.
if I do all of this, then I don't get shit done.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
And I'm constantly, she's got to see it. Anybody that's worked with me firsthand has got to see how many distractions
Oh my gosh.
that come in,
Yes.
to the job flow. And so it's like, we're going hard. Oh, contractor going hard,
Yep.
delivery.
right.
Going hard. Noah called. He
Yep.
needs some Tums at the
Yeah,
school.
and that locomotion you
Yes.
got going gets
Yes.
stalled, and you're like, and it's hard to get that
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
rhythm
ADHD,
back up.
so that is
Yeah.
me. Is like
Yes.
once I'm off, then I'm like,
What was
what
that?
are we doing?
Well, and I think there's something to be said about working at home too and not having a cutoff.
Yeah.
And feeling like you're being consumed, because I remember when I was working from home from that little bit of time, like you get so much in your bubble and your niche that you don't like to exit it.
that's tough too.
I feel like sometimes that there's something wrong with me at this point because I'm like, I love being in my house. Like, I love being in my house. And people would think that I'd want to get out because I'm in my house all day. But I think it's because I'm in this room.
Yes.
You know? And so then when I go out, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to relax and chill. And like the best idea of like a good night for me is like to throw on my shows and have my food right there in front of the TV and just
comfy clothes,
chill.
Convenience and comfort.
Yes.
Facts.
You know, I don't want to be out.
To add on to that, enjoying being at home. When I was growing up, like my dad always said, he was like, yo, like we pay so much to stay in this place. You should make this place enjoyable.
Yes.
Instead of spending money
elsewhere
to be entertained or feel good or stuff.
Oh,
so
well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
I've never been like a bar sitter or nothing like that. Like those people who go and just go, I'm just gonna go sit aimlessly at the man, I'm not I'd rather be at home. You know why? I can control the AC.
I can control
pause what I'm watching, go fix me something to eat, use the restroom. All my likes, I mean, like my computer and my video games are there. My children and my wife are there. So it's like,
you have everything you need.
I mean, occasionally, we all get a little cabin fever. And like, hey, man, let me put on some of these new sweatpants I ordered.
I love sweatpants, by the way. I love sweatpants, but I have the same issue. He like walked up in my house and was like, "Where are your dogs at?" Like, they cannot come near me. And so I'll buy a brand new pair, and I'm like, yes. And I go wear them like 3 times, and then that's it. They're done for me. Like, I can't wear them anymore. Even if I go and wash them, like they get the little teeny tiny hairs stuck in them.
Right, and it's
done.
Around.
It's done.
It's okay. You're a dog mommy.
It's okay.
That's all right. Yep. Those
are
babies.
good for when I'm out.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like nice sweats to go watch these basketball games in, and put on some sneakers. Like that's me and Taska. We used to get dressed up and go out to clubs, and now it's like we save our get ready clothes for ball tournaments.
Yes.
We're out in our best athleisure.
And we got to show these parents up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I love it.
So 2 kiddos, and the oldest,
Javon,
is the one that you basically raised since he was how old?
About 3 years old.
Yep.
Now his dad's been in his life and stuff like that. I'm not gonna take nothing away from Justin like that. It's gotten way better now too, because like now he's like showing up at some games and stuff like that.
Really,
and
that's good.
That's good. Like for me, that means the world to me because Javon looks for his approval and so it's like I know what that's like,
right?
Know what I mean?
Yes,
so
you can relate from a different side.
So hey,
but your dad. So when you say that you looked for approval, like growing up, like where did that come from? Because your dad was there, he was present, correct?
all the time, yeah.
But
well,
you had all of these, yes.
So that's why I want, like everyone's looking for your own little,
your team,
little bit of shine. And I'm 5 of 6, so I'm second to last. So you can imagine, like how that hierarchy goes.
Yes.
You were probably the one that got the least whoopings.
Oh man, I knew how to navigate my dad's form of discipline to the point that my other brothers, my younger and my older, did not like my honesty. He'd be like, "Are y'all up there messing around?" And they'll be like, "No." And I'd be like, "Dad, I gotta be honest. We were."
You're not about to get me in trouble.
I'm gonna keep it real. You said don't lie to you. Here's the honest truth.
Brothers over there like,
take it easy on me.
Shut the hell up.
It wasn't like I was snitching. I just knew it would be lighter if I told the truth, man. Like, hey, and trust me, if he asking 9 times out of 10, he already knows.
Right.
So don't.
Well, and you probably were learning from growing up and being around them.
Older
You know better.
Brothers and sisters, I watch it go down and I hear tones of voice, and
you're like, oh. I know what that is.
I think it's funny because Noah's a little bit the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, he's the baby and he's
Which, of your
spoiled.
youngest?
He's when I say spoiled, like he's a brat.
okay, she was like, I mean, all essence
like
of
I
the
had
word.
to like I gotta watch what I say like on the podcast, but like sometimes you gotta put the smack down on them. And, like that had happened the other day because it was like, dude, like you're getting out of line. Like this is getting. I don't care if you're 13 years old or not.
Yeah.
You
have to learn boundaries.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's not very far till they're old enough where they go, I want the car, and if they don't think anything can happen, they're gonna take
it regardless.
They're gonna take the car.
Yes.
So what you gonna do?
See, and then Joey, my oldest, he's the one that like, how come you so soft on him? You so soft on him, like you guys didn't treat me like that.
The first child always goes through, I feel like, the hardest punishment, the hardest lessons, like the hardest, at least that's what I hear from everybody. My brother has said the same thing to me. I'm the baby of the whole family. So he's like, man, if I would have did that, I would have got in trouble. But there's shit he got away with that it cut everything off for me. Oh, he fucked that up, so you're not even getting an opportunity. Like, we're not even doing that.
Your parents probably knew how. You remember what we were just talking about outside about seeing that and like if that could be a possibility because I saw it from the oldest. Let me tell Whitney
we're not
now.
doing it.
And so Whitney doesn't have to even. Sorry, I was hard on.
I think that there's some wisdom in that though too. You know, my son, my oldest, he totaled my car. He took it and totaled it, and that's the parents' worst nightmare is getting a phone call.
Right. I can imagine. I can only imagine.
Yes. And for Isaiah, who's about to be driving, you know, I'm like, boy, you better.
You're on guard.
Look what happened to your brother. You better, you know, it's. I can't stop him from going out there, but I also am like, look, like you need to. And he witnessed some of it, got really scared, a little traumatized by it, which I think is good.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
I think there was some, you know, some.
Yes,
there's fear in that.
Some good things.
So you were raising him, and did he take to you right away? Like, did he just was like? Because 3 is young.
Yeah, and he's very shy, and he already had such a big support system through Tasca's family.
Yeah.
You know, like his grandfather or Lolo,
Yeah.
Super involved and stuff like that. Was probably, you know, the male figure for the majority of that time. So to me, I really struggle with. I want to be your. I didn't know. Do I want to be your friend?
Right.
Before I wanted to be your friend before I added discipline in.
Yes.
I wanted you to know that
There's got to be some trust there.
And I love that you did that because a lot of blended families don't do that. Like my stepmom came in and like tried to be the disciplinary right away, and I'm looking at her like my mom got this down on pack. You need to get out of my face.
And then you see what happens is the defense. Do you know what I mean? So instead of it being like you get an immediate
I didn't respect her.
Right.
I did not have respect for her because you're not trying to get to know me.
Right.
At all. You think you just gonna come in and just.
I tried to. We did things like.
And was this a conversation that you guys had up front, you and Tasca? Like, did you, because she had her own child, were you kind of like, look, like, where do I get to? Where's my place in this? Or did you just step in?
I don't think it was like a pointed conversation or something like that. But as things happen, I think, you know, like I'm always talkative. Tasca is not as talkative as I am. So she's pretty aware of what I'm thinking.
Is she introverted? Like,
most of the time, she just doesn't.
She's very assertive. At least I feel like she's very assertive. So if something's up, she's gonna have the conversation, but it's gonna be real cut and dry and to the point.
Well, it's just not. I mean, like I said, I'm 1 of 6. I grew up from a litter where you're trying to hold a retention rate the whole time from your family, whereas, you know, Tasca's 1 of 2. You know what I mean? And so there's a little bit more time to spare. And so I just, like I said, I did things, like I said, when me and Tasca first got together, I was like, okay, so we're going to go cohabitate. We're going to try this and bring Javon into the fold. He gets his own room, and we're going to try and navigate through that. Well, at the same time, Tasca was going to school for nursing, so it was like there was lots of times where me and Javon was there, and I called it guys' night. You know, we're about to have guys' night, right? You know, like, yo, so let's do video games because I know that's what you like.
You guys were bonding.
Yeah, man. I was like, I gotta do that first so we can connect.
Yes.
Before I can go, hey, I don't want you doing that. You know what I mean? Like the other day, we were at the mall. He was dragging his shoes, and I was like, stop. I just pointed at no. You pick your shoes up. My dad hated it, and I get it now. Yeah. It is annoying. It looks sloppy. And you can't tie your shoe tight enough to pick
that
up
was
off
the whole reason why I got into it with Noah.
Yes.
It was in the morning. Like, he got long hair, right? And that's my husband's idea. Like, when Noah was the baby, he had this really curly, beautiful hair, big lips. He was my girl, really pretty boy, but not a girl. Right. And we didn't cut his hair until he was 5. And it was when he asked us, like, can you please cut it?
Right.
But so long story short, Nando's letting him grow his hair out again. And I think it brings this nostalgia back of him being a baby.
Yes.
Right. Well, he doesn't brush it. It looks sloppy.
That's what cut justice is.
He, you know, he wears sweats, but they don't look clean and fresh, and like they look.
So when you add non-clean sweats,
I'm like, dude, you're about to go into high school, and this is not a good look. Like, and I'm just being real. Like, we were talking about how mean the kids are.
To go into 9th grade.
Yes, which just doesn't make sense. It's like when I went to school, it was 6. You know, it was 7th, 8th, and 9th. and then you went to high school in 10th
Oh, no,
grade.
Yes.
mine was six.
Mine was
6th, 7th, 8th.
Yeah, when they changed it. Well,
Yep.
I mean, no, I guess, but for me, it
Right.
worked because you just I don't feel like you throw these little kids. Like, he still looks little to me.
Yeah.
No,
and with these grown ass,
Yeah.
like, seniors.
Yo, I don't know if it's because they're ballers or not, but we go play and they're like grown and their like legs are super like sturdy and strong. And like my son, fashionista. Like Javon,
I love it.
got fresh down head to toe.
Finesse.
He knows how to nail the fact to the point that like I've never been into sneakers, and not to say like my shoe game is fly today or nothing. Like don't nobody good. But like now I'm like I look at him on his feet and I see him wearing them. I'm going.
That's kind of fly.
That's kind of tight.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah. So and once again bonding. Like I
So
try and
you
tell
guys
him.
have guys' night.
Yeah. Oh, so we had guys' night. And then I started to coach him too.
Yeah.
I coached him for 3 years of YMCA basketball from I don't know 6 years of 6, 7, 8 maybe or something like that. And then I had to stop just because you got parents and refs.
Yeah,
and I sometimes
yeah.
don't know where to channel my anger.
That's
all
when
the
he was he could be a coach.
Where's the line?
No, I mean I'm pretty cool with it, but what I was having problems with was explaining to parents I want to win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, not everybody's a winner in this
Not
one. Like, we don't
everybody
play
is.
like that.
And
You
I
didn't
can
used to
do
play like
that for
Yeah.
so long until I go, sorry, bro, and I
Yeah.
don't
You
have
lose.
I
Right,
don't
pretty
I don't-
much.
I don't have a.
We're here to win a game,
and it's
not
not
just...
only do I got to do it to the kid and go, sorry, Johnny, have a seat,
Right.
but I also have to Johnny's mom.
Yeah.
That's kind of not. I don't.
She kind of get pissed off. Why is my son on the bench?
I mean, I just
Right.
don't want to have to answer. I'm pretty good, but yo, come on, man. You seen what I see.
Right.
And that's what some coaches
Yes.
would do. They would go, I'll just put the bad kids out there and let their parents see so they ain't mad.
Nuh-uh.
No, I ain't got time
We
for that.
gotta win.
You go down by 10 points doing some
Right.
silly
Sit down.
stuff like
You're not
that.
on it
You
today.
need more practice, buddy.
Right.
Let's get you some more practice.
But
And
that's constructive, though, and that is what molds,
Well,
I
what
think,
was
a
nice
good
was-
player.
To bring it back to Javon was he got to see the things I was saying as a coach. Sometimes during that period, he was like wondering, is this a dad thing or is this a coach thing? And I was like, trust me, this is just basketball 101.
Right.
And so now that I'm not, now you're getting coached. And some of the things I was saying was being said by these other men who are influenced in your life as you're going along. So you'll know that, hey, your non-bio dad,
Yes.
hey, he here, he keeping it real with you 110-fold. Like I told you last episode, music and stuff, honesty
Dogg.
is the key.
Right.
Like I need you to know, hey, when you listen to your little babies and they talk about, I take a new girl every other weekend, da,
right.
da, da, da. Nah, don't do that. They're
Right.
valuable. Don't throw that away. It's going.
Yes.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
And now it's like, and you're an example for your younger brother, Justice, who's coming up.
So where did you find okay, so you found all of these similarities where you were able to both of you guys were able to fit
Connect.
in and connect. Where did you see in your life, your own personal experiences, the things that you, as one of 6, that you were able to shift things as well that maybe weren't so good for you in your life, or things that you were like, I'm gonna do that differently?
I don't know why this is jumping to mind, but it was my dad had 6 children, 3 baby mamas, and I felt like I would be lying if I believed that some of those relationships didn't suffer from lack of time or just
Right.
proxy and stuff like that, because there was only a few times that all the kids were living in the house together. At
Together.
the same time. It was
Right.
very rarely. It was like maybe 4 pretty regular, but it was never like 5 and 6 was tough
Right.
to have us all
Right.
in there. And so when I had my family, I didn't want to have as big. I want to be there for y'all. I don't want to. Also, too, man, we grew up. I mean, we did great. My parents were great with what they had. They made it stretch, but I didn't want that neither. You want some new shoes?
Right.
I want to be able to get you some new shoes. I want to teach you the value of $1.
Right.
Okay, I want to stop right there, and I
Yeah.
don't because this
No,
is
be my
something
guest.
I really want to touch base on, because I struggle with it. I know other entrepreneurs struggle with it, and yet there's supposed to be some kind of balance, right? But
Right.
if we're being 100% real, so this thought
Always.
process has been in my mind for a while, because as many of us want to say we're doing it for the kids, we're
Right,
doing it
right.
for the kids. I do this all for you. I was watching Kevin Hart, his the live,
Yes.
not the Netflix
Yeah,
one,
right,
but
right.
his actual documentary.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And his friend called him out because he said, everything that I do for these kids. And he said,
sometimes
I'm gonna let you know right now that that's not how it was. Really, how much are we using that as an excuse?
Yes.
And I had to check myself when I was watching that documentary, because I always say I'm building a legacy, I'm building an empire. When I say that's not just about the business, it's that the Word of God says basically that a wise man will leave an inheritance to his kids.
Yes.
And I want to be able to do that. I want them to be set in many ways. And yet also Solomon, says at a later point, he says, why you build all this stuff, you give it away to somebody and they don't even appreciate it.
Ungrateful, yeah.
And I always check myself at the door and say, what if at the end, does my kid say, but all I wanted was time with you?
Yeah.
That's tough.
You know what I mean? And so where do we find that balance? And when do we actually get real with ourselves about our true why? Because we could sit there and say, it's all for you, but then we don't spend time at home. We don't spend time with the kid.
Let me jump in.
Yes.
That's where I have the toughest problem balancing my work, because I take advantage. Like when I say I'm at home and you go, I cut myself off. There's a lot of times that I hop in for like a couple hours, and take advantage and hop out, and then some of my work builds up. But I go, no, because it is a tough balance. Yeah. It's a tough balance.
I love that.
That's what I meant about it being hard, having it in your home, because there's that leniency of being able to.
There's times where I'm bogged down, but I know Tasca is home early with the boys and everybody. She don't know, but like, everybody is like in the front room, and I go, I want to be there too. Like I can make this. I'll just figure it out.
Yes.
I cut video games off for a night with my friend, or whatever in the hell it is. That I need to make.
It's being present,
yeah.
Because you can also be a body in in a room. Do you know what I mean? And your mind is someplace else. Like there's many times, and that's just that. I always say that I'm a workaholic, and I've accepted so much about me in that scenario, because I know that my mind is constantly going. I'm constantly creating.
Right.
Even when I should just be present.
Right.
But the kids know. You know what I mean?
They
know that.
Whether you're here or not. Yeah, we can hear Justice if he says to one of us, "Off your phone."
Oh,
it's
crazy when your kids check you about that.
I hate it.
That makes me happy that he's doing that.
I'm the worst person about, like, I hate myself whenever I give into it. Like whenever I go, oh, I need to check. Someone sent me a message on Facebook, and I open up Facebook, and instead of going right to my messages, I go scroll, and now I'm on the list, and then I shut my phone. I go back to my computer. I go,
damn it,
I opened that whole thing. Spent that 5 minutes of scrolling for
nonsense and didn't even do what I was supposed to do.
That's why I don't like that social media stuff.
It's tough.
But I also don't think we should be hard on ourselves, or think that I don't think there's anything wrong with being selfish in wanting to succeed for your family or that empire that you're creating.
Right.
In my mind, my upbringing, my dad was like, I'm gonna build an empire. One day we're all gonna be rich, kings and queens on the throne, and then I'm gonna hand that down to each children. You all get a part of that as you go through. And to me, I said that's the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And so I never look at it like I don't try and be successful at work to have more money to buy me some shoes. I look at it so my son can have some shoes, and I don't have to look at like on some explaining shit.
So when do we, and I guess that's my thing, is like, when do we, so it's grind and hustle and work hard, and year by year goes by, and you're grinding, you're hustling, and then your kid is 2 to 3 to 5 to 6 to 10 to 13, and you're like, damn, like, okay, well,
let me ask you this. Would you be mad if they exhibited the same traits and habits that you're worried about you doing right now?
So I thought about that, because basically somebody said that it was the Dave Ramsey, I think, or somebody said on their desk, there was a picture of their kid, and it says, I am an example of you.
Right.
And you have to really think about that, and you have to be okay with if your kid lived this way. And so, number one, I always want them to chase their dreams.
Facts.
I always want them to chase their dreams. And I know that comes with a heavy, high cost and a price. Mm-hmm. And so I started to think about, because there's some things that I'm resentful.
Right.
I shouldn't say resentful. That word, that's
maybe
false.
Word.
That's the wrong word. Yeah. So I used to be actually resentful with my mom. in the sense that she was she worked a 9-to-5 job. My dad
Right.
worked. They're both, latchkey kid. We've talked about
Right.
this before,
Yes.
where I come home to an empty house. You fend for yourself.
I've been there.
Yes.
And so I grew up very independent, which hence is also why I think that I started to rebel, go to the streets, try
Right.
to get love from
Right.
and other individuals because I wasn't necessarily feeling it at home.
That is a common thing.
Yes.
And it's a real thing. Go
And
ahead.
so for me, where I was asking you kind of where I changed it was to be more present.
Yes.
Now, I'm definitely not, because I see the traits of my mom.
Yes.
As much as I try to get away from that, I'm like, damn, I'm my mom.
Still.
Like,
Right.
I am. I'm my mom. Like, I'm sitting
Yeah.
here. I do my 9-to-5. I got my little, she had her cat. She had her activities. And it was always like, well, I was thinking about schoolwork. I was like, did my mom, maybe I can count maybe 5 times on my hand that she actually helped me with schoolwork.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
yeah,
you know what I
no,
mean?
my
Like,
dad was
sports,
mad on that.
things
Yeah.
like that. I wanted to be in cheer so bad. I sucked, but I wanted to be in cheer. And they didn't encourage me to,
Right.
hey, go. But they were doing the best that they could as
Yeah.
well,
Yes.
And that's what I hope that the kids will actually see eventually. And so,
I think they will.
Well, and that's what I told you when we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I think that everybody has their own separate journey, right? And what you went through with your mom and how you were raised was setting you up to be in the scenario and situation that you're in with your kids now.
Amen.
So I don't think you need to put that much pressure on the what ifs of if I wasn't there. Pay attention to the stuff that you're teaching your kids.
Yeah.
Like, they're seeing you build this incredible empire, standing on your own 2 feet as an individual, being successful. Like, I didn't get that background. I got latchkey kid as well, single parent home, struggling every single day, and there is no extra. We don't have money for college. We don't have this. It was just that thought process of,
Right.
of just lack, constant lack, because that's what she was taught.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're teaching them something so valuable
I
that they are
remember-
going to be able to be okay with saying, I can be an entrepreneur and own my own business.
And
My mom did it.
I take that and
Examples.
receive
Yes.
that 100% because I remember some of what I've taken in as well as, I think we went on one vacation, which some kids don't go on none. You know what I
We
mean?
never went on family
I
vacation.
Yes.
Our vacation was like maybe my older
to the lake or
sister's
something.
ball tournament,
Yeah.
volleyball tournament or
Mine
something.
was-
and
yeah.
only like a few cities away.
So my
Like, yeah.
parents,
Yep.
I think, took us, I think I was 12 years old at that time, maybe 13, and they took us to Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
We got to go to Disney World.
I think that's so important.
It is.
This
You
time
know,
around.
it's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And so for us,
but it's also very expensive.
it's so
Well,
damn
we just
expensive.
did it for the first time with the boys last
Gosh.
summer, and when I'm looking at Javon, he's 13 at the time. Like, this is the first time he's like, yo, I'm gonna go down and see if I can find some friends and stuff down here.
Yeah.
But Javon's been well traveled since then. But for Justice, being the youngest coming up, I need him to see that because I didn't get out of my town, so I
Yes.
thought my dad is
Yes.
living great in this little small town in Iowa, and it's fantastic. I'm going to be able to fall off the wagon and still be able to land this. He didn't go
Yes.
to no college, and this is what it is. But I didn't get to see all these different levels of how it costs, or even I thought about this the other day, and I was like, how can I tell Javon how to be aware of hustles and stuff like that? I didn't see the hustles until I was later in life. Like the first time going to Vegas,
Yes.
getting on a one of those little party bus packages that'll take you around all the, and then realizing that that's just an independent person setting
Yes,
that up. Like
yes,
they're literally just
yes.
calling around all the places and figuring out
Yeah.
and making their money their own way
Yes.
that way.
Yes.
And so, if my boys can see that because they were experienced to some stuff outside, it's cool. But like you said, it's expensive. It can't be all.
No, and see, for us,
the first time I went to Disneyland, I promise you, we were there bright and early, right? And I seen this couple at the line, and they've got 2 kids in a stroller and I would say maybe a 6 or 7 year old, and they're literally on the side of the line trying to navigate through their accounts how they're going to pay to get into the park. And that broke my heart, and I put it in perspective, and I was like, if I had a child right now, would I be able to afford to bring my kid in here? No.
Nah.
I mean, we're talking about the entry to get in is almost like maybe $260, $300 for one day, and that's just one park.
Yeah,
Parks
one
are
park.
separate.
Yeah, you want the
parks
extra
are
park is
separate.
like $340.
That's extra. And then if you don't want to waste your time standing in line all day, you got to buy the fast pass.
It's
That's
a
another
racket.
$55.
Oh, that's double.
And if you
Yeah.
didn't bring,
It's double.
if you didn't bring food with you, because you can bring coolers, but if you didn't bring food with
$16
you,
plate.
There's no bringing.
that's
no
like
food.
$20 a person.
You're gonna pay $20 for a kid's chicken finger. That is
And
the
then
worst thing.
we're
you
not
can
even
stand in
gonna put,
line.
like,
It's
the-
frozen. It's like
Yeah.
it's frozen
Well,
food.
and then you're gonna put in perspective of all the shiny crap that they are gonna put in
You
front
gotta
of your
get a
kids.
souvenir while you're there.
Like
Yeah.
it's insane.
It's a, well, now that you talk about it, I know this is a sidebar. Ladies and gentlemen, when you notice that they opened those back up, that's when we knew maybe we shouldn't have shut down.
Pretty
Because
much.
when them billionaires lost all that money
Yes.
flow and they were like, no, we have
got to make
open
up
these.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Come
got
in
to
on a
make up now.
discount for a whole week. You're gonna get a
We gotta
$2,500
get this local
discount.
But I
Yes.
think, so what bringing that back is that for me, I try to do it once a year.
Yes.
And maybe it's
Yeah.
not something as extravagant as Orlando. We
Right.
did that and we took them to Legoland and
Right.
that was one of the things is that first and foremost, I wanted
What
to
land?
sit down. Legoland.
All right.
Yeah. Is that how you say it?
You wanted to take them. It was a podcast, entertaining, funny. I just
Guy. Okay, we going there now. Okay, Joey.
wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one. That's all. You were saying you want to sometimes want to make sure you're getting out of the city.
Well,
or
just
the-
getting away
yeah.
and making that a priority.
Yes.
That you work, but stop and take those breaks. Stop and rejuvenate first and foremost yourself because
Yes.
you guys, it's a played out record, but it's the truth. If you don't feed yourself, you cannot feed others.
Yep.
You cannot.
Yep.
You cannot pour out into other individuals. You have to come first. And I know that sounds selfish as shit.
Yes.
But if
It's the
I want
mask on
to
a
be,
plane.
if I want to be the fullest amount of myself to be able to give, then I need to do something for me to feed
Yep.
myself. And so first and foremost, you got to do that. And then I can be able to say, okay, let's go, let's whatever. And so that was one of the things for me was taking the kids and making it a priority,
Yes.
to take them out, to
Definitely.
see things.
Yes.
Another thing was eating at a kitchen table.
Yes.
Which we haven't done very often at this house.
Yes.
We used to do it all the time at the
It
other
is
house.
hard to do that. Why
It
was it so
is.
easy for us?
I don't
growing up?
know. We even had a TV in our kitchen. We had one of the
Me
little TVs on top
too.
of the refrigerator.
We
Little
had a
13
TV,
inch or
yeah.
something like that.
We
Yeah.
had a TV in our kitchen, but we didn't eat at the table. Like we
See?
didn't have a family dynamic. My mom was getting off at 7:30, almost 8 o'clock at night, and I was cooking dinner, making sure that was ready for her when she got in the house. And I was already finished eating and on my homework and in my room, so we had a disconnect from.
And that was important to me because there was
Yeah.
conversations that were had around the kitchen
Yes.
table.
That
you
if I'm
know?
having with my oldest, my youngest can hear and
Yes.
soak that up. And
People think
process
it's
them.
corny, but I love the way Rev Run runs his house because he
when that
constantly
series-
yes.
Are they still taping that?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I
But
was-
he
loved
constantly
it.
required a check-in with their kids. And you want to call it corny, whatever the case. He
No.
requires conversation. What was your high and low today? What went on
Yeah.
today? Like, I want to know what happened in your day.
This is
Yeah.
such
It's
a big
important.
tap into them youths. Otherwise, you're going to be surprised when you're like, I don't know why they went like that.
Right. Well,
Yeah. Yes. I think, when you had asked as well, if you look at your kids and so depending on how you're raising them, and if you look at them and can say, hey, would you be proud? I see my son Isaiah, so my middle who I was
And then
not,
what's the youngest? Is Joey, Isaiah, and
Noah.
Noah. Got it. Go ahead.
And so Isaiah is my middle kiddo, and the middle kid is tough because you have your firstborn, and then you have your baby, and they get lost in the mix.
Yes.
And so he, for the longest years, I can admit, got lost in the mixed, and he fend for himself in so
Yeah.
many ways.
Yep.
And so
that's you. That's your little mini-me.
and he was in his room a lot in his own thoughts but he's also very imaginative. He has an imagination.
Yeah.
He loves to create in his head, and he would come out and same thing. So when he got the chance to speak and talk, boy, that dude will talk.
Yes.
Like he just a mile a minute. He wants to get us as much stuff as he can
I had
out.
time to go over it upstairs. I mean, I don't mean
Yes.
upstairs. I mean
Yes.
upstairs
Yes.
for a long time. And he's like, yo, I thought about this. I want to present it. What do you
Yes.
think about it, man?
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And I
He
love,
has a passion for communication.
Yes.
Like, he really, truly does. And for him to be
Love
at
to
the
meet that
age
one.
that he is and is so open with his communication, I was like, I don't want you in my business. Get out of my room. He is like, no, I want to tell you what happened, Miss Whitney. This happened, Miss Whitney. You know this happened? I'm like, yes, tell me all about it.
yeah. And you know, he's like that. So many, even the aunts and uncles are like, man, Isaiah, he's my favorite just because he comes and he talks.
Yes.
He goes over to grandma's house and he talked once. I'm going to go to grandma's house. I'm going to go talk to grandma. I'm like, go ahead, son. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Nice.
And so my appreciation for the way that he's grown up, and it's not because we did this amazing, I'm not saying that, like, because he spent a lot of time
But
in
the
his room.
circumstance made him this way that you can
Yes.
get out of. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's
He
again,
does fend for
everything
himself.
happens for a reason.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
went through what you went through with your living situation as a child to make this situation for them.
Gotta trust the
and there's
Most
a
High.
lesson, there's a lesson in it, and there's a reason.
Yes.
There is a reason.
Absolutely.
Whether you know up front or
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
Yeah.
it's-
Half the time you don't know it from.
No,
Yes.
most of the time,
Yeah.
It's
way more than
hindsight.
half. It's like, oh, in retrospect, that was setting me up for this. And,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Always.
I wonder how that would be with justice. I mean, I sometimes kind of, worry whether or not he, missed out on having a child his age growing up. But Tasca does a phenomenal job
Yeah.
of keeping him involved with her friends and the kiddos over there. And then it was mandatory, even coming out of the pandemic. And I did want to put a mask on my child, but I sent him to preschool. It's like, like he has to get that part of it. But he is. I got so lucky because he is. He's a creative artsy fartsy. He likes to sing, dance, draw, perform, play video games, talk, be the center of
Yes.
attention. And I'm like, you're gonna be so hard to raise because you're so mean. Yeah.
That was Isaiah. I think
He's
that's
by
why
yourself,
I think that's why we
yes.
kind of butted
Yeah.
heads. Like, as funny as it sounds, you wouldn't think that, like, a kid being like you, that you'd butt heads, but there was so much in me that I saw in him, and I was like,
It
huh,
made you
like,
go, you're not going to do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you're gonna be better than me,
Yes.
and I can see you exhibiting some of the traits that I might frown
Yep.
upon now. And like I said, I like to
Yep.
stop that stuff early, but you do gotta let them grow and stuff like that. But I could not love. Javon's been an amazing older brother, especially through these times, like trying to establish a business. And sometimes, Javon, you gotta watch your younger brother, and I need you to be well
Yes.
with it. And that's why sometimes when you think my discipline is coming down hard, it's not just that. And you might call it selfish because I'm looking for someone to make sure that the youngest is looking good. But no, that's your younger brother. You should have just as much concern that
Correct.
he is just as safe. So, when I'm serious and you keep that phone
Accountability.
up, when that phone is
Yep.
supposed to be up and you watching him, when me and your mom need to, that's what it's got to be. And he does such a good job about it.
Where do you so you also hear, you hear these stories of stepdads, stepmoms, for instance, the little boy that got killed.
Oh, my gosh.
Now,
Which one?
the one right here in Fountain.
I didn't hear about it. I'm
what
so
was his-
detached.
Gannon.
Gannon, yeah. So
The little boy that went missing.
Uh-huh.
So, just for
In
long story,
2020.
yeah.
Give the recap.
He went missing. He was in responsibility of his stepmother. They had already been married previous, remarried, and basically, long story short, his stepmother is the one that killed him. But he had some needs and some other, I don't know the details, so don't chastise me about speaking about something I don't know.
Summate for me who
But-
don't know anything.
But he was required to be on certain type of medications. There were other scenarios, more attention, and from
That's too bad.
just the situation, I think the mom got frustrated and maybe something happened in that nature. But what she did to that little boy was extremely horrible.
And these
They found his body in Florida. And I know the backside of it, and I'm not afraid to say it. And everybody wants to call me on it. His stepsister worked at Massage Envy at the front desk with me at the time. And around, I think maybe 2 days prior to them actually figuring out what happened, where his body was found, the FBI was in Massage Envy questioning his stepsister.
I say that to say just because
Yeah.
like these stories come up so often with step parents. You know what I mean? Not like it's not the norm.
Oh,
but,
you're saying like, yeah.
and I
well,
wanted to
Yes.
know, kind of bringing it back to that question when I said, did you and Tasca ever, sit down? Because we learned in one of the church services that we went to, there's an acronym called SMIRK.
Yes.
And it says before you get together with somebody, okay, before you become a partner with somebody, that you should take this into consideration. First is sex. You need to talk about it because if this person likes
Yes.
this and this person
Yes.
doesn't like
Yeah,
that, that's
it's
something that
one
needs
of
to
the
be
main
had.
things that needs to be talked
Money,
about. Yeah.
financial
okay.
status, right? Because it is very
What's
important
eat,
that like
entertainment.
what you do. I is intangibles. R is
Religion.
a religion.
Yes,
The-
yes.
R is religion. That's
out
an
here.
easy
I'm out
one. You
here.
got to talk about.
Right,
You got to
right.
think about.
And
And then
kids.
K
Yes.
is kids, and how you discipline and what is okay and what is not
That's
okay.
such a good thing because those are, it sounds cliche, but until you get in it, I think a lot of people, they see examples and then they get shacked
Yes.
up and
Yep.
then you go,
They
oh,
jump.
these are the real things
Right.
that keep a relationship together. That
Everything
people should
looks
be
good
worried
on the
about.
outside.
Right.
Everything looks good on paper, but let's get into the nitty gritty of things. Like, how are we going to discipline our kids? Do you want kids? Do you not want kids? Hey, do you like handcuffs when you're in
Yes.
behind
We-
the
we
bedroom?
did.
Do you not like
Right,
handcuffs?
right.
Do
We
you like
did.
spend too much money?
Right.
Like, are you a huge saver? Like, all of these things will play out to the relationship, and then kids being a huge one. And I think for single parents who are getting into relationships, it sounded like you navigated that situation so well, whether that's because I heard you say before that many times you're in your thoughts, like you are somebody that just really thinks
Yeah.
about things behind the scenes.
My wife says overthink.
Well,
So that doesn't make sense. The word doesn't make sense. To
I
me.
mean, that could be a good quality or a bad quality.
I think that
Go ahead.
some of those things, like so when you're navigating those things, it sounded like it came so naturally for you. The way that you started thinking about like the fact that you even thought about like, okay, before I discipline, we're
Right.
gonna bond first. We're gonna have this, this coaching. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Like that was important,
Definitely.
and you got to be able to establish that connection.
Yeah.
But the way that you thought about it, the way that you kind of ventured into that was natural,
How would I want to go about it?
right?
I mean, you've seen so many of the, like you said, the not maybe that extreme of horror stories, for lack of a better word, but like, you see the step parent and the child's relationship can just be thrown off so much that I was just like, I don't want that to be with me because I could just imagine how hard that is on
Yeah.
both ends. Nobody wants that. Let's make this smooth as possible.
It's hard. I
Yeah.
went through a scenario where my stepmom blatantly came in front of my dad and was like, "It's either me or your kids," and he was like, "I'm choosing my wife. You guys have got to
my
go."
kids all day. F you. I and some profanity there.
So did that ever come up? Was there ever a point where Tasca was like, "That's too much"? Like, was there like she was like, "Okay, we need to speak about that," or
what on disciplining or something like that.
Yeah.
That was tough. I just made sure to speak on how I was raised and how I believe that discipline works with children beforehand. When we're watching TV, reality TV, that was my
Yes.
main thing. That's why I told her I love when, like for me, a bonding part in a relationship was watching TV because then I would pause it and I would look and I go, "What do you feel about that?"
Right.
It just bring up so
Yeah.
many instances that you're not in.
It
and
does.
you get to see it, and so through that often I was like, I got spanked as a child. You get spanked? She was like, she was not foreign to it. And then like even when I took a trip with her folks one time, they were speaking about how the Bible, the parents spare
the
rod.
rod.
Yeah. And I was just like, all right, cool. So
That
he
means
know,
you getting
and
your
her, and
ass
her, and her
whooped.
mom was nodding too, and I was like, cool. So y'all know what time it
We're
is.
all
So
on the
that's
same
the way I
page.
get down. And I don't. My dad was like, I'm gonna give you a couple times, but trust me, on one of these times, I'm
Try
gonna say,
me.
if you do it again, you're gonna get a
Yeah,
spanking, right?
yeah.
And so then when you do it again, he goes, now what did I say last time?
Right.
And when you repeat it back, you don't blame dad for giving you a spanking. He told you I was gonna give you a spanking
Yeah.
if it happened again.
Yeah.
And so I explained that sort of stuff, just like how we're talking right now
Yeah.
with Tasca before we got to that point.
So you guys
know?
knew where you both stood.
Yeah, well, because I got engaged beforehand with someone that obviously, thank the Most High, knew I wasn't supposed to be with. But like, I didn't realize until the engagement had already happened that, oh, you're scared. Like, she would hear me laugh at like Def Comedy Jam jokes about like disciplining our kids, like, yo, just the belt buckle, get a hammer, da da da. And I'm laughing at
some
these
welts
things,
on your butt.
but that's not what we mean. We like, that's sensationalized for the joke. That's not really how we mean.
You talking about
The
Bernie Mac
sentiment-
type shit. I'm going to pick this
sentiment
little
is the
kid
same,
up.
but it's not.
I'll
It's
beat
not.
you to the white meat
Right,
show.
until the white meat shows. I'm going to whoop your ass.
Like the stuff that they could say back then, and then
Well, so then I had a conversation, and she was like, I'm scared about how you was going to discipline children. And I was like, well, you should have said,
That a long time ago.
because that ain't, like, I don't know how. Sorry, I'm open to listening
Yeah.
to another way to raise them. But everything I seen with my dad, and then every time he would point it out, someone's in public, and you go, you know where that comes from? They didn't do this.
Hello.
Oh, shit, you right.
and
Dad.
you have to cater to that too, because so then on the other spectrum where my husband, he got his ass beat, like I mean closed fist beat though,
yeah.
like you know,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
so that type of anger and frustration that he grew up with, I could see it coming into the boys'
It
relationship.
spills out without their control, I think,
same
sometimes.
thing. It's the you there's things about your parents that you're like, I just don't want to be like, and then
Yep.
you look back and you're like, damn, I'm doing it. You know,
Yuck.
I'm doing those things. And for me, being honest, you know, when one of the kids was really, really small and he disciplined him and he left a mark, and I said, that's it. I said, dude, do not ever. That's your kid, but that's my kid, and do
Right.
not touch my kid like that.
Because
caught
me
the
and you are
marks.
going to fight.
I caught the marks, and I love my dad to death. Like,
I got the
RIP.
marks.
Like R.I.P. My dad. He was my favorite person on this planet, and I still to this day, like, you know, thank him for everything that he did.
Right.
But like, yeah, I like in my mind, I was like, if I showed anyone at school what this was,
Oh my God.
I'm telling.
Did you
But
ever
I
have
ne-
your kids like? Did you?
but I never.
We used to
voiced
tell
it
my,
him.
I would tell my
never-
parents, I'd be like, you know, you could go to jail for this, and they're like, go
I don't know
ahead,
what it
call,
was.
go.
She
you have to
laughs
go
at
into
me.
a foster home.
This is really not funny. My mom used to get her ass whooped by her dad. Like, he used to bring home boards, wires. We worked construction. Like, he beat them. Almost so much to the point where when she tried to start disciplining us, she would yell really loud, but she would be very, very cautious about how she put her hands on us. We got whoopings. I got popped in the mouth. But it never was progressively to that extent. And she would always over-explain, like, I need you to understand that I really could whoop your ass right now. And I'm choosing not to because you are my child, and that is it.
I know. For me, my dad was always like, I guess to the point of like marks and stuff like that.
Right.
It's like he's like, I can't have my sons getting crazy because
Right.
my wife can't handle them if they act like they want to not listen to her and just leave the crib. She needs to threat up, I'll tell your dad.
Yeah, facts.
And then there's no, well, that's another guy who can come over here and handle me just as well as anyone.
Or there's the other part where, you know, mom stays cool and
Yes.
like chillax, like
Yep.
just very like, and then when mom breaks,
Yep.
Well,
oh
yeah.
shit, you
Well,
know what I
trust
mean?
me, because
That was
it's
the
shocking
threat,
for
yep.
the
Yes.
young kid to go,
Oh
my God,
Zaya
Mom,
told me the other
Mom
day.
lost it all.
He goes, I told him something. I don't know. He was doing something, and I said, "Boy, you better watch out." I said, "I will whoop your ass." Like, and yeah, I said, "You taller than me, you bigger than me. I will
Don't
still
get it
whoop your ass."
twisted.
And he looked at me, and he like his eyes got big, and his friends were around. Cause I'll say it in front of his friends too, and I'll whoop your guys' ass too.
Yeah. Anybody in the house can get it.
And he was like telling his friends, he was like, "Yeah, I'm more afraid of my mom than I am my dad."
Yeah.
And yet, dad was more the disciplinary. My husband
Right.
is more the disciplinary than I was. But when I flipped my
Because
shit,
he don't know where you coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
It's unorthodox. He's
Right.
like, I ain't seen that look before. That eye,
Right.
that eye. Dad's warned me about that eye. That eye, I know. And he, like I said, my dad's gonna warn me. If you do it again, I'm gonna spank him. Well, I'm expecting that. If mom pops off and wants to
Right.
spank me, yo, you don't never want to spank me. Whoa.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
yeah,
Use it to your advantage.
yeah.
But we used to play games, so I used to feed off my mom, and then when she would get mad at us and we weren't listening, we would run around the house and go, child abuse, child, and we'd bang on the walls and get real loud.
Yo, Yo,
I'm telling you, she tells me
I
stories
need
when
to
she
go
was
back
a
for
child.
the Whitney story. I don't think I've seen it. I need to
we
go
got.
back
Well,
for
she
the
needs a
Whitney.
part 2. She's only had her part 1, and I don't think we even.
No, we don't need to do another part.
Yeah, we do.
No, we
Yeah,
We
come
didn't
on,
dive
man. That's
deep
where the
enough.
juice is.
She's got some stuff
Yeah,
that
you
I
got
want.
the
Like she
pulp
needs to
for,
surface it
to
out.
get into
Yes.
that.
Oh,
up,
but that's
man.
how your kids never did that to y'all. Like when you're mad, they do shit to make you laugh on purpose to get out of trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yes,
But not
like-
like threaten to call DHS.
That's more like Nando. That's more like Nando. When I'm pissed off at Nando, he does stuff and he'll say stupid stuff, and I'm like,
Get out of my face.
Yes, and it
dummy.
just makes me laugh, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like I want to be mad right now. You know, so kids are a crazy thing, and I'm glad that we kind of went there because it's important for, I think, single parents to hear that there are good individuals out there because I
Yes.
think that so many people, first and foremost,
thanks,
there is, it's the truth because you hear all of these stories of these horrible events, and yet nobody's highlighting the dad that steps in and says,
Yes.
that's my son.
Yes.
Like, blood or not, that's
Yes.
my son. I'm going to
Yes.
raise him to the point of protection where it even sounds
Let me
like,
jump in. That was my father. Like I said, 6 kids, 3 different baby mamas. Never once did we refer to anybody as a half brother or sister.
That's your
Not never.
sister. That's your
Yeah.
brother.
You just is.
Yeah.
And so I wanted Javon to have that same
Yeah.
feeling. Because otherwise you feel, how could a kid not feel damn?
You feel out of
ostracized?
place.
Right.
What? When my dad moved out and bought a car for my stepsister, I was like, well, where's my car?
And my dad did
You know
that.
what I mean? Like,
You know,
you're
my dad
actively
did that.
choosing somebody else
But
instead
not
of
only
me.
that,
That's
even
why.
when they're all blood, like all my kids are from Nando, like they're still comparing.
Yeah.
They're still like, well, he got
Right.
that. How come he got that? Like,
Right.
well, you know, and I'm like, boy, it's different. I can't explain that right now.
Don't ask
but
questions.
You get, and then poor Noah's wondering why he get all the hand-me-downs. Like, well, he got new shoes and I get these. I'm like, well, you know,
It is what it is.
My dad.
shut up, boy.
Right.
Hey, I'll handle each one of y'all how I would believe
Right.
you need to be handled, and that's just the
Yes.
way it is.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if not, let the state raise you.
Right.
See my guy.
You have them come
See
pick
how-
you up.
See if anyone outside that door
Right.
will love you more than we love
Right.
you inside
Yes,
here.
but I think it's important because there's again, we talked about divorce rate, 60-40 chance of making it in these relationships, and so the odds are definitely against you. And so, and most of, like you said in the last podcast, you knew going forward that, look, in my age bracket, somebody gonna have a kid.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah,
And
more
so,
than likely.
whether it's a single mom, whether it's a single dad, that are out there, there are individuals who are not these people that they're portraying, to be. There's good stories, there's good
Right.
outcomes, there's good things, and
That needs to be told.
Yes.
That absolutely needs to be
Well,
told.
you heard it here.
yeah, you heard it first here. That's
Show
right.
E with
give a
the
shout out
E,
to
no
my mom
Y.
and dad for that one.
Yes.
That's all them.
You see, and so all of the things that we can take from, whether it's good or bad, you can always, if you choose to, okay, because everything is
Yeah.
always a choice, and I believe that if you choose to look at your circumstances of when you were brought up or where you came from, you can choose to say, okay, I take this from it. I choose
Yeah.
to take this from it. I choose to take this from it. I learned from this. I don't want to do this.
Yes.
And kind of cater your own relationships with your kids, with your family.
You got to break those generational curses.
Ooh, that's another
have
whole,
to.
That's another whole topic right
And,
there.
and,
so.
and on part 3, Joey, we're going to discuss what he does when he's not filming with
So
you.
that was the last
and
time.
Yes.
music video,
Yes.
and real estate, and
Because
live
you
coverage.
are a money-making person. You are a grinder.
I like to have my fingers in a lot of video
You're hungry.
production pots.
You're hungry.
Wait
And
till the summer.
here's the thing about that is that I see people that are hungry, then I see people that go stagnant and they just settle and then they're unhappy in their position and they're unhappy about what they're doing and they're just doing it for the money. It's the wrong reason.
Yep.
But you stay hungry. And if you keep that mentality, you'll be successful in anything that you do.
Impossible to fail.
That's
Yes.
truth, is if you stay hungry. And I'm not saying, because I'm on the other side of the spectrum, I have done the grinding, I have done the hustle. It shows, and I'm not saying that as a
Right.
clout moment, but it shows in what I've done, what we've accomplished
fruits,
here.
your
It
fruits,
shows,
yes.
but there's another side of that spectrum where it's like, relax,
Mm-hmm.
chill out, don't chase so heavy, enjoy the moment because all you have is right now.
Yeah.
Like that's it. There is no tomorrow. There is not, because you are not promised.
Yes.
Yesterday is gone. That's the past. That's done deal.com. all you ever are doing is living right for that specific moment.
Yep.
You know, and so, but I love that you are on this movement of, you're doing all kinds of things. I think I'm so drawn to creative people.
Hey man, we're gonna
Yes.
do it. We didn't get to even talk about how we just made this awesome.
Oh my God! Well, I want to talk about this for a second.
Yes.
I do want to talk about this for a second. Yes,
Go ahead.
because we have our other guests here too, and we're excited to get into their story.
Yes.
And you guys, I need some money. From you.
He said, "I need my check, please."
But
But you know, so the video that you did, clean. Like it's
Such
just
good
the
work.
lines, the.
Just,
I kept telling Whitney, I said, "Look
simplicity.
at how beautiful
Yes.
the color is." For me, you know, color's been a big
It's a big
issue.
thing.
But it was just a great video. And here's the
Thank
thing:
you,
you get
man.
to be creative when you're doing your music videos. You get to do what you
Right.
want with these
Yeah.
type of videos. When you're doing for clients, it may look like, for a videographer, it may
Right.
look basic. For somebody that
Right.
does this
Right.
professionally, they may be like, "Oh, well, that's basic.
Those
It's
are
this, it's that."
decisions I take,
But
when
it
I
doesn't
edit.
make a difference.
It needs to be simple. I can't let it be confusing and gaudy.
And I told Chris this the other day, because we were looking at some videos, and I said, "Look, like, I get that you want to be creative. I get that you want." I says,
Yeah.
"But for this specific thing, you can't.
It's commercial.
This
You
is
gotta,
this is what the client wants. Like,
Mm-hmm.
plain and simple. This is what they want. You get to be creative over here." But this is what the client wants, and to them, that's like, you know, they were blown away.
Yeah.
They were absolutely blown
I
away.
know. You sent me that email, and
She
we need
loves
to talk
it.
about that some
Yes,
more too.
yes.
I wanted to. But
Yeah,
we're
so
running out
she
of time.
loved it. That was Beaches Tanning.
Beaches
It's
Tanning,
just Tanning
yes.
Center.
What?
Fillmore, Nevada.
Our location that we're working with is
Yep.
Fillmore in Nevada.
And for my clients specifically, so since we made the video, I kind of upped the ante, because I noticed when we pulled up to the
Yeah.
shop, they're doing
Yes.
it because they're brand new. They're doing it
Right.
because they're a brand new business, that they're doing 1 week free tanning. So she was like, "We want to offer your clients 1 week free tanning." And then I was like, "Well, you know what? That's going to sound like a little shady to me. If
Right.
I'm saying this is exclusive to my clients, then they
Right.
pull up
And
and they
then
see a sign. They're like, "Well,
everybody-
everybody gets this."
Right.
So I said, I think we need to up the ante.
Facts.
And let's not only offer them 1 week free tanning, let's get them that spray tan, you know, that bronze
Right.
glow or whatever they want.
Right.
They're going to Vegas. They want to get sprayed up for the $8 instead of 30. And then she said, "Well, on top of that, what we'll do is we'll up the ante for you as
Yeah.
well, and give you your clients 30% off all products, where we only give our clients 20."
Right.
Nice.
Like,
Right.
dang,
Okay.
that was dope,
Yes.
you know?
And then,
so
and then hopefully we can just drive them things.
Yep.
You're like, girl, go get ready for your shoot.
Yes.
Take a
Yes.
week
Yes.
over here.
Yep.
Get your.
all of these
Get your
different
skin
avenues.
right. Get everything
Yeah.
together before your shoot. Exactly.
So that video
so go
was
check that
done.
video out
Yes.
on your the
IG.
boudoir suite.
The boudoir
It is
suite.
on the
Uh-huh.
it is actually on the it's on Instagram currently, and it's about to be on. So people don't know that I have a Leah Flores Photography YouTube page, because I haven't done nothing with it. Like, absolutely nothing except for load videos up. That's it. I got like 3 followers. Okay.
It's a start. It's a start.
But yes, go check it out there. It's going to be there. And you guys continue to check out Joey. We will talk in
Yes.
part 3 about what he's doing behind the scenes with his whole deal of what was the name? The head, what is it? The head movie. What's the name?
The movie, what? Oh, Old Head Reviews.
Old
Yes.
Head
Old
Reviews.
Head Reviews.
Old Head
yes.
Reviews on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram.
Such
at
a niche. I love it.
Yes.
Joey Sparks, the number 7. That's 2 E's, no Y.
You guys will get to know him better. You'll get to know his personality
Yes.
better. My clients, as we always know, this
Yes.
is important to me. You guys are
Yeah.
getting firsthand, like, this is who this dude is. He's dope.
He's
we are
dope.
so blessed and happy to have him here in
Thankful.
this space. And we are about to create some shit.
It's about to be a lit summer, y'all, at the boudoir suite.
That's
Let
right.
me just tell you right now.
That's right. So till next time.
Bye, guys.
Out. Can you guys
What?
hear it?
What?
Can you hear it?
What?
Can you hear
What?
it?
What? Between the sheets? What? 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 Between the sheets? What? What?
Get
What?
it, Joy.
Get
Get
it,
it, Joy.
Joy. What?
White guys always like that. Like, they're like, that's all they do.
It's all in the shoulders.